Welcome to CityLine. It is always wonderful to be in your home. Wow, we have a great show ahead of us this hour. Very varied in terms of the topics that we'll be discussing in our community. Later on, we'll be talking with the Stadium High School military heroes. Tim and Connie and Nitin are here to talk about the assembly they have and why that's important to them. It's a great segment. Save a Life, Donate Blood. The American Red Cross is here to talk about some of the needs they have here locally, here in Tacoma, but also nationally. And then Old Places, New Spaces. We're talking about adaptively reused trail bike tour. It is National Preservation Month and National Bike to Work Month. They've decided to join hands and coming together to celebrate a collaboration for that month. And then with me right now, I have two individuals who are deeply attached to the Northwest Repertory Singers. Please join me in welcoming Paul Schultz. You are the artistic director and founder of the Northwest Repertory Singers. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
It's great to be here.
And from this point on in the interview, I'm going to call you Dr. Schultz for as long as I can, okay?
Oh,
all right. I know. This handsome man next to you, Mr. Kyle Hogan, you are the assistant director of the Northwest Repertory Singers. Welcome to CityLine.
Thanks.
Rumor has it that you brought Johnny Carson with you. Is that correct?
Well, sometimes he comes along, sometimes he stays in the car.
Oh, well, there we go.
But wherever he is, he tends to attract a lot of attention.
Thank you, Mr. Carson. My goodness. Okay.
I told my wife Kyle would upstage me.
Kyle would up, and so I just figured we'd get it out of the way from the top, and then we're done here. So this is truly your last concert after founding the choir 17 years ago.
Yes.
Boy, that went by quick, didn't it? So I know this is hard, but try to describe your feelings about this, because it's got to be mixed.
Well, I think the operative word is bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly, I've been blessed with a long and healthy life and a career that has been filled with the joy of performing music with some great people. I've been blessed to have very talented groups to work with, and Northwest Repertory Singers has certainly been my pride and joy for the last 17 years.
Oh, look at this video. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
So tell us what we're looking at.
You're looking at a video Kyle actually put together at a recent retreat, and parts of it are in formal attire, and we're singing the final song from the June 9th concert, Mackerel, Berg's Anthem of Peace. And this kind of shows you that the choir not only sings music well, but they're a family and they really enjoy being around each other. So
Beautiful video.
it was a fun day.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, look at that. Boy, you clean up well, Dr. Schultz.
Well, thank you.
Which church is this?
This is Mason Methodist Church in the Proctor District.
And how many singers were in this group at that time?
We have about 50 plus, 53, 4 I think were there that day.
Wow, what an amazing video. So let's talk about the highlights of the program. The final concert, what can we expect?
Final concert. The first half, we are bringing in quite a few members of Symphony Tacoma for 2 works. They're each about a 20-minute work. First is John Corigliano's Fern Hill, the text by Dylan Thomas. And Thomas talks about his life growing up on the farm as a boy. And the poem means a lot to me because I grew up on a dairy farm in Michigan. And the second part of the first half with orchestra is Morton Lauridsen's Lux Aeterna, Morton is a native of the Pacific Northwest, has a beautiful home on San Juan Island, and has taught for many years at the University of Southern California.
So how did the two of you meet?
I've known his music. He's one of the real jewels of choral music in the United States. And he heard our group perform one of his pieces in Town Hall in Seattle in 2007, and was so moved by our performance that we've just become friends. They did a documentary video on his career, and when this was shown on San Juan Island, he requested that we come and perform for the premiere of the documentary. So
what a great story.
We've been very special, and he's going to attend.
Of course he is.
The concert.
Yeah, so collaborations, you know, have always been a big part of your legacy. Some of the best collaborations I think of are ones that have your name attached to them. What kind of benefits has Northwest Repertory Singers received from these collaborations from time to time?
Well, I think it's the answer to that is multifaceted. I think the benefits that each ensemble or each group that we've collaborated with receive, it's kind of a multicultural thing. For instance, I can think of when we collaborated with Pat Wright in the Total Experience Gospel Choir. That was amazing because Pat teaches gospel by rote, and that's exactly the way she taught it to NWRS members. We had a wonderful collaboration with Magical Strings where we did Irish songs. We brought in Irish dancers. We've collaborated with the Coats and numerous choral groups from Pacific Lutheran, UPS, various high schools have engaged dancers from Tacoma School of the Arts, and all of these experiences bring our arts groups together and allow our people to see what they're about and their people to see what are about.
And it's truly a win-win.
It is.
So, Mr. Kyle, let's talk about, when did you join Northwest Repertory Singers?
Fall of 2007.
Okay, all right. And just joined as a member, or did you join as something else?
Paul asked if I'd be interested in doing some conducting and being assistant director. So I had been a student of Paul's in the Adelphian Concert Choir and as a conducting student at University of Puget Sound. And we'd kept our relationship going via email and going out for a beer and things like that over the years. I was living in Boston for a few years, and I remember swapping some emails and saying, hey, I think I'm coming back to Tacoma.
And he was like, aha, come play with me. So let's talk about that relationship between the two of you. How would you describe it?
Paul often talks about being kind of a musical dad to me and to other students of his, and conducting and the arts, I think the arts in general, but conducting and singing instrumental music, you can really sense a family tree, depending on who you studied with and who your influences are and how that sort of has been passed down to you. And certainly a lot of my thoughts and feelings about approaching choral music is because of this guy and the way that he is attentive to text, certainly is attentive to the detail, to the composer's intent. Another thing you talk about, and jump in if I botch this, but is the circle that's there between composer and conductor and performer and audience.
Oh, nice. All connected.
And how and you have to be mindful of that at each step as a conductor, as a music educator, as a teacher. And if you lose sight of any of that circle, something is invariably lost in the process.
Wow. So you are a published composer. So what inspired you to start composing?
You know, I've been thinking about that question, and I don't know that there was a particular moment when I thought, I think I'm going to compose. I know a component of it is that I'm one of those people who was able to play piano by ear, even as a little kid. So I've always been tinkering and doing something. And as choral music came into my life, so to speak, as a kid and growing up, it was kind of natural that sooner or later I would do some writing of choral music. And sometimes you find that there's something missing in the repertoire or in what's available, and you think, well, maybe for my choir, for my group, I can make a contribution that will be good for this group, and maybe it has a life outside of that, maybe it doesn't. But a lot of times things are born out of a need.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Okay, so Dr. Schultz, what are your plans after you retire?
Oh, I have not properly spoiled my grandchildren yet.
Good answer.
Donna and I have a bucket list of places we'd love to see and adventures that we've always loved adventures, and there'll be time for that now. I mean, when age is just a number, and everybody says that. And the thought of turning 80 in July makes one wonder not just how many years do you have left, but how many quality years do you have left. And there are places that I want to see and enjoy and learn about. For instance, I've always wanted to go to Australia and New Zealand and interact with the Aborigines and the Maoris and learn more about their music. I guess I'm stamped a lifelong learner, and so that's what it's about. But more time with family and the music will always be there.
Yes, absolutely.
But I want to get on with life and not be in a spot where people say, well, he's starting to slow down.
There we go. And now it's time for him to leave.
Yeah.
Get out while the getting is good, as we say. Yes.
No,
Thank you for, 17 years of beautiful music and inspiring people to be lifelong learners and recognizing that everybody has a voice.
36 years in
go.
Tacoma.
Thank you.
It's been a joy.
Thank you so much. And you, as you pick up the mantle, I want to invite you back on CityLine. I'd like to see you in 6 months, and let's talk about how the transition has been and bring some members with you, okay?
Sure, we'd love to come back.
It's a date. All right. You, I want to see in the headlines, Co-Tribal Choir, Paul Schuster. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, after a little bit of musical chairs, we'll be right back. Don't go away.